Homelander, the Plutonian, Supreme, Omni-Man, the Utopian, Apollo, Samaritan, Gladiator, Shazam, Hyperion, Sentry. All great and popular characters, but also, let's admit it, obviously characters inspired by or complete rip-offs of Superman, depending on who you ask. But who would you ask? In reality, all of these characters, even Superman, are rip-offs of Namor the Submariner, and to a lesser extent, Shazam. Namor was the first modern superhero who could fly, and Shazam, then known as Captain Marvel, was the second. In Action Comics number 1 in 1938, Superman could only leap tall buildings. He could not fly. Superman actually got the power of flight in cartoons and radio programs before the comic books. Experts can't even agree which comic book Superman started flying or hovering in. But it happened sometime between 1941 and 1944, depending on who you ask. The point is that Superman only got the power of flight years after his debut. However, Namor could fly and had super strength in his first comic book appearance in 1939. So, are modern superheroes who can fly, even Superman, really ripping off Namor? Let's discuss it. What's good? It's your boy Ace from pfadvice.com. Like, share, subscribe, get notified, hit the bell, leave a comment, join the movement. Thanks for subscribing. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'll be saying Namor instead of Namor. No offense to anyone. In April 1939, Motion Pictures Funnies Weekly number 1 was given away as a promo in movie theaters of the era. This comic featured the first appearance of Namor the Submariner. That same promo comic was then reprinted in October 1939 as Marvel Comics number 1 for Timely Comics, the precursor to Marvel Comics. Namor had super strength and the ability to fly from his first appearance. It was not an ability that was added on much later. Shazam, then known as Captain Marvel, listen, that's a very complicated story. Let me know if you want a video on that. Made his debut in Wiz Comics number 2 in February 1940. Published by Fawcett Comics. Shazam started flying in Wiz Comics number 5 in June 1940. Technically, Superman began flying in the Fleischer cartoons of 1941, specifically in the episode The Mad Scientist, but that's a cartoon, not a comic book. Some experts say that Superman began flying or hovering in Superman number 10 in 1941, the same year as the Fleischer cartoons. While that is technically true, it is also true that this was an aesthetic mistake by the artist of the comic, Leo Nowak. A brilliant aesthetic choice, but national publications, DC Comics at the time, still had Superman leaping over buildings. Flight did not become a permanent superpower for Superman until Action Comics number 65. Superman only began flying in the comics in Action Comics number 65 in October 1943 in a story called The $1 Million Marathon. This was 5 years after his debut in Action Comics number 1 in 1938. Still, ask another expert and they will say Superman began flying in Superman number 30 from June 1944. That is the first appearance of Mr. Mxyzptlk, or is it Mxyzptlk? I don't know. And that comic clearly shows Superman flying in the clouds above Metropolis. Now here's another doozy. New Triumph magazine number 772, a UK magazine, features the first appearance of Superman in a British periodical. Now on the cover of New Triumph number 772 shows Superman flying in orbit in space, August 2nd, 1939. However, this is just the cover. This is not canon to comic books. Now, even if you want to count this as the first time Superman flies, which I don't, Namor still made his appearance in Motion Picture Funnies Weekly #1 in April 1939, 5 months earlier. Visit pfadvice.com. pfadvice.com is a personal finance and comic book entertainment site. I write weekly columns there. We cover comic book reviews, comic book entertainment and news, collectibles, personal finance advice, and more. pfadvice.com is owned by District Media. I want to thank them for sponsoring this video. Now, depending on what expert you ask, Superman started flying sometime between 1941 and 1944. I don't know if the cover of a 1939 UK magazine counts, but then you have to count Motion Pictures Funny Weekly #1, which again came out 5 months earlier in 1939. Namor was the first superhero who could fly, a fact that has long been lost to history due to the overwhelming popularity of Superman. The truth is, when it comes to everyone ripping off the indestructible flying superhero with super strength paradigm, Namor is getting ripped off, and to a lesser degree Shazam, not Superman. I'm not taking anything away from Superman, I'm just the messenger, folks. Talk it out in the comments. Thanks for watching.